Welcome to this week's WOW Report with What's On This Week. I'm Madeline Zarkowski. Things are always changing. Stay tuned to find out what's changing in your area. I'm here today with Chief Duncan from the Gilbertsville Fire and Rescue Department, and I know that you guys are remodeling your old building and you're building a new one. Can you talk a little bit about the process of that?
Absolutely. So the process of demolishing our current building that was built in 1971 until today, so it was in service for almost 50 years, serving the residents of Douglas Township. We started a committee to start looking at the feasibility of the current building compared to building a new emergency services building here in Douglas Township to serve the residents. Again, it's been about an 18-month process, looking at all the different needs of the fire department, police department, and also the EMS department. And the end result of the committee was that we would have a better suited fit for a new construction as opposed to retrofitting the current building that was standing. So we started demolition the beginning of June. It's supposed to be a 280-day process from start to finish, from the demolition start to a brand new building and turning the key. We're expected to get into the new building January of 2022.
Very exciting, and I know your new building will be hosting both the fire department and the police department, is that correct?
That's correct. So the new building will host the Douglas Township Police Department as well as Gilbertsville Fire and Rescue Company. That's who will be included in the new emergency services building.
Okay, and were there any changes that had to be made to the police department?
Right now, the police department is operating at the current Douglas Township Administration Building, located at 1320 East Philadelphia Avenue in Gilbertsville. They're in about a 3,000 square foot facility right now, and they will be moving into a 6,500 square foot facility in the new building.
Okay, and where are your trucks and equipment located right now during the middle of this process?
Right now, the fire department has transitioned to a temporary building and structures directly across the street from the fire department right now. We are located at 1449 East Philadelphia Avenue. We were fortunate enough to team with a local resident and business owner who was generous enough to offer their property and land for the interim to allow us a spot to house our equipment and operate our emergency services in the interim.
That's nice, so it's not too far. And I know something that a lot of people used to use was your hall for events. Are you going to have that at the new station or no?
So the new station will not include a social hall facility. It'll strictly be an emergency services building for both fire and police.
Okay, and so my final question, are you guys still on track for January? Can we expect to see this fully running on January on your planned date?
We are hoping, all things aside, that we will meet our January deadline for turnkey and operations in the new building. We're expecting to start footers and have the site preparation completed in the second week of July. And then by the end of July, early August, you should start seeing an outline of a building. The steel will be going up and footers will be completed. So it's
very
an exciting time.
very
Yeah.
exciting. So what goes into the design process of a building like this?
Okay, so there's a lot of major details when it comes to emergency services and what would be needed in a building, especially when you begin combining fire, police, and medical emergency services into one building. We have to look at security aspects when it comes to the police department, making sure that security systems, camera systems, locking door mechanisms, even your computer IT equipment, telephone systems, all those little things you don't think about right away when you concentrate on brick walls and glass doors. You know, you have to think about all the little things.
Yeah.
Our committee right now is working on furniture designs.
Okay.
How the furniture will fit into each room, what type of furniture would be needed for each room, even where electrical outlets and cable jacks and IT outlets need to be placed. So a lot of detailed information when you start designing a building that's going to service the public in this capacity. And we kind of reach out to other facilities, newer facilities. We were able to visit the Limerick Fire Department. They just completed the Limerick station about 4 years ago, and just completed the Linfield station, I believe, last month. So we were able to tour some of those facilities and look at some of the technology things that they have in their stations and what they're utilizing, what they like, what they don't like. And even down to like their furniture and how they have some of their rooms designed. So
Yeah, so there's so many little pieces working together that we might not always think about.
Yep.
So did you get a decent amount of inspiration from those local other fire departments?
Yeah, so we are using Gorski Engineering as our builder and designer. And they were the build design for both Limerick departments as well as the Collegeville Fire Company. So we were able to take some of the pieces from those designs and builds and incorporate those into this building as well. So
Well,
I couldn't
very
imagine
exciting.
starting completely from scratch. I
Yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
you would do that.
Well,
but
that's great that you guys got this all set up. We're all looking forward to it.
thank you.
With Dr. Finnerty, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
Yeah. So I know you just recently started in this position.
Yes.
What are your thoughts so far?
So I am very excited, also humbled and honored. This is a really important job, being the leader of an organization this size and dedicated to the dreams of students. It's a big job, and
Yeah, of course.
I've taken it very seriously, enjoying meeting people. Every day I'm meeting somebody new, and it's been very exciting.
Yeah, well, that's great. And I know Pottsgrove didn't have to look too far. You were just at a local school in the area, right?
My last job, I was at Twin Valley School District, where I was the assistant superintendent. I was there for 2 years. Prior to that, I was on the other side of Pottsgrove. I was the principal at Quakertown Community High School for 6 years.
Okay. And what are you going to think about the transition? Do you think it's going to be a difficult transition from school to school, or are you excited?
You know, one of the great things about working in schools is the students.
Yeah.
And I get very excited about trying to build an organization that can really be a place where kids want to come even if it wasn't the law.
That's great, yes.
And that's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think the transition will be very
So
smooth.
that'll stay the same,
Yes.
yes. So obviously you're looking forward to that. Is there something else that you're really excited about and looking forward to in this position?
You know, just this is the first time that I've been a superintendent, so that is a new part of it. So there are some things that I'll be doing for the first time. So just like I ask of my students, I get excited about learning something. So I'm excited about learning the things that I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And the last thing that I wanted to ask you is, do you have any big goals that you're really planning to achieve in this role?
So we are first and foremost a school. So what I want is I want our students to be successful. I want to provide and improve, constantly improve on pathways for them to achieve their dreams. Secondly, I want to mean something to the community at large. While we are a school, and that is always important, so student achievement, academic achievement is important, so is the community. So
Yeah.
I want to be part of the community. I want the school to grow in its impact within the community, and I think that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's great. We're all looking forward to you being here. This is very exciting. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
I'm here today with Steve. How are you doing today?
Good. It's hot today, but I'm here.
Good. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on here behind us today?
Well, the railroad, for the railroad here, we purchased a locomotive, a steam locomotive, and they brought it on flatbed trucks in two parts. They brought the boiler and cab on one part, and they brought the chassis on another, and they met here today, and they unloaded them today with the cranes, and they came from Colorado, and it was a week on the roads, and there was 3 tractor trailer loads to bring it here, and everyone had to take a different route because one was too high, one was too wide, and one was too long. So they had to all take different routes. But they got here today and they got it unloaded with the cranes, which have now left. And there you see it.
And can you talk a little bit about your relation to this project?
Well, my relationship is more to Boyertown. My grandmother bought a farm near Boyertown in 1941, before I was born, and that's been in the family ever since. And so because of that, I have some connection with Boyertown. And in the early days of this railroad getting set up, this tourist line, Gilbertsville Railroad, I donated some money, and that pulled me into being part of it just from that standpoint. And early days, I said to Nathaniel, I said, you know, it would be great if you had a steam engine. And he said, well, you know, they're not exactly all out there for sale, and they're very expensive, and it's not that easy. And then a number of years later, he says, there's one available. And the price had been cut. It had been a repossessed steam engine. And so after thinking about it, I decided, okay, I will actually buy it and lease it to the railroad, assuming they can actually pay for it. Mm-hmm. They don't have to pay for it. I'm taking the risk. So I bought the steam engine and I paid to have it moved here, and I'm here to see it happen. It will happen.
Well, it's very big. This is a crazy sight.
I know. And when you tell people, oh, by the way, I just bought a steam engine.
Not something you see every day, right?
They don't know what to say. Everybody should have one.
And when can we expect to see this on the Boyertown rails?
Oh, well, it depends. They have to put it back together. It has at least a month, and then maybe another month of making things right. We're not sure what they might find. And so possibly before the end of possibly this season, it'll get up on the rails, but certainly next season for sure. But we're hopeful that it'll be up on the rails this season.
Yeah. Well, we'll all look forward to that. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
I'm now here with Mike, and I know that you are responsible for setting up so much of this. Can you talk about your position with all of that?
Well, I was the chief ramrod in charge of the operation. Basically, Mr. McGuire hired me to facilitate the best, most economical, and most cost-effective way, an efficient way to move the engine here. So it took us between 9 and 12 weeks to plan this.
Wow.
We looked at a variety of different options. One of the first options that we were going to look at doing was loading the locomotive undisassembled onto a special railroad flat car and ship it here by rail, and then to truck the tender, which we did anyway. And as we got into the operation and things unfolded, the railroad was starting to become a bit of an uncooperative option. The prices kept going up and up and up, and their time frames for moving it were stretching anywhere from 3 to 12 weeks, and we really didn't want to spend the entire summer on the road chasing this thing, making sure nothing happened to it. So we made a decision that we could move it by truck, take it apart and move it by truck, much more efficient and faster than we could to move it by rail. We spent 2.5 weeks taking a locomotive apart, disassembling it, getting it ready for the lift, and to load onto the special trailers, and then we had it here in a week. We only loaded it out in Colorado exactly a week ago today. So we moved the chassis at 98,000 pounds on a special 12-axle trailer. Mm-hmm. The boiler and cab assembly was about 72,000 pounds.
Wow.
on a drop trailer, and then the tender was the problem piece. It wound up being 14 feet 9 inches tall, so it had some interesting routing options.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that heavy, 64,000 pounds, but we made it. We had some challenges along the way that we overcame. We had to make some route changes, and it's part of the job.
Yeah,
I partnered
exactly.
up as a team effort with myself and Steve Butler from Morton Locomotive, and we executed the job, and I think we were brought it in quite to Mr. McGuire's satisfaction, and we got it here quite quickly.
Yeah, well, that's great, and there's definitely a lot of aspects going into this that many people might not realize.
There's a lot of aspects going into this that
Yeah.
people don't realize. The one route for the one truck changed 3 times en route getting here, And then Pennsylvania gave 2 of the trucks bad routes that they couldn't traverse. So we had to go back out and find different ways for them to come and get the state to give us different permits.
Wow. And were there any other really difficult struggles that you encountered during this process?
Heat.
Yeah.
It was pushing 100 degrees most of the time we were working in Colorado. We were seeing 50-degree temperature swings, and on a couple of days we had 60-degree temperature swings in a day. And then, of course, today it happens to be 98 degrees, so you live.
It's very hot out.
It is. It is.
Yeah, hard to work under this, right?
Yeah, well, as they say in Colorado, you know, it's dry heat.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Well, I know we're all looking forward to seeing this. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much for watching this week's WOW Report with What's On This Week. If you have a story that you want featured, please reach out to me at madelinesarkowski@comcast.net.